we want to graph this equation, and notice this equation is in slope-intercept form, right? We've got y equals mx plus b, where m, the multiplier of the x, is the slope, and b, that number, that constant out there, that's where it crosses the y-axis. So m is equal to negative. I'm going to associate the negative with the top because the bottom number tells me the horizontal change, and the top number tells me the corresponding vertical change. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start at the y-intercept because I know that's a point on the graph. So we're going to intercept it at -4, so I'm going to come over to -4 on the y-axis and put a point here. And then I'm going to use the slope to get another point. Now, the slope is -5/4. The bottom number is a horizontal change. So from that point, I will change horizontally. Now it's positive, so I'm going to go to the right. I'll go to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 5. Right, down because of the negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right down there. So I'll put a point there. And now I'll pass a line through these 2 points. And that is my graph. I'll put arrowheads to indicate that the lines go on indefinitely in both directions. And you can tell by the slope here, if I just pick any point on this line and go over 4 and go down 5, I'll be back on the graph. Now we're supposed to list the slope and the y-intercept, then graph. Now this is in the right form right for us. This is in the form y equals mx plus b. The multiplier of the x, that's the slope, and that's going to be 5. Now I'm going to write it like this. The slope I know is a fraction. So if I have a whole number, I'm going to write it as a fraction, like over 1. Because now I have the horizontal change to the right 1 and the corresponding vertical change up 5. The y-intercept, is that -6 out here. So the y-intercept, I'll write it here. The y-intercept, now it's actually a point, so it's 0 and -6. So let's put a point at 0, -6. So I'll start at the origin and go straight down 6. We'll put a point right here at -6. Now from this point, I'll use the slope here. Bottom's the horizontal change, top's the vertical change. These are positive, so to the right and up. So I'll start at this point. I'll go to the right 1, up 5. That'll put me right here. This is a very steep line. Now, so that I can get they're kind of close together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this again. I'm going to start at this point now, go to the right 1, up 5. Right, that'll put me here. Now that's 3 points. That should give me a pretty good picture for the graph. I'll pass a line through these 3 points. So there's what I think is the graph of this equation. Now we are asked to graph this equation using the slope-intercept form. So I want to get it in this form right here. Y equals mx plus b. So let's solve this for y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is, how about if we subtract that 2x? So I'm going to write this as 2x minus 3y equals 18. Let's subtract that 2x. So if I subtract 2x, from the left side it's gone. I'm left with -3y equals -2x plus 18. Now I'm going to divide by that -3. So if I divide every term by -3, I'll get this. Y is equal to, now it's -2 over -3x plus 18 over -3. So how about if we write it like this? Negative over negative is positive. So this will give us 2/3 x, and positive 18 divided by -3 is -6. So there's our equation. I've got the slope and the y-intercept is really what? 0, -6. So I'll start by plotting the y-intercept. It's down here at -6, and then the slope is 2/3. Now the bottom number tells us the horizontal change, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, and the top number, the vertical change, 2. So I'll put a point to the right 3, up 2, puts this here. I'm going to do it again. To the right 3, just so I get another point. To the right 3, up 2. You can do it again if you like, but I think we got enough. I'm going to pass a line through those 3 points. And that's what I think is the graph of this equation. Now this equation here, notice this. We did this, they asked us to do this using the slope-intercept form, but look what we've got. 2x minus 3y is 18. Notice that the 2 and the -3 both divide evenly into the 18. So in that case, I'm going to use what's called the intercept form. It's pretty fast, and all I have to do is this. I set up a table. I let x equal 0, right? Because when x is 0, let me put it in here. When x is 0, that term goes out, and I can do this in my head. -3 into 18 is -6. So there's one point, and that happens to be the y-intercept. And then I let y equal 0. And if I let y equal 0, 0 times anything is 0, that term is gone, and I get 2x equals 18, so x is 9, and there's 2 points. So the first one is 0, -6. We already plotted that one. That one is right there. The next one is 9, 0, so I'm going to start at the origin, go over to 9, which is right there, 9, 0, and that's this point right there, which just happens to be right on our graph. Now this equation's in standard form. We want to graph it using the slope-intercept form, but look at this. The coefficients, the 1 and the 4, both go evenly into 8. So if I wasn't given directions on how to do this, I would just do this. I'd write x and y. I'd let x equals 0, because if x is 0, that term goes out, and 4 goes into 8 twice. So there's a point, 0, 2. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. 0, 2, right on the y-axis, right there. And then I would let y equal 0. So let y equal 0. And if y is 0, 4 times 0 is 0, that term goes out, and I get x equals 8. So I'll plot that. Over 8, up and down 0. So over 8 at 0, that's going to put us right here. I got 2 points. I can pass a line through those. But of course, that wasn't 8 that I marked down. That was a 6. So let me actually put the point where it's supposed to be, right there at 8. They're asking us to use the slope-intercept form. So let's get this in slope-intercept form. We've got x plus 4y equals 8. Now, I want to get it in this form here, or y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to solve for y. So let's subtract that x. So we will get 4y equals -x plus 8. Now I'm going to divide by 4, but notice this is really 4y equals -1x plus 8. And when I divide by that 4, we'll get y equals -1 over 4x plus 8 over 4, so we'll get y equals -1 over 4x plus 2. Now the slope here's our slope, and there's where it crosses the y-axis at 0, 2. So let's put a point there. So put a point at 2 on the y-axis. Well, we've got it already because we did this in intercept form, so I've got that point. Now, get another point using the slope. So starting at that point at 2, go to the right 4, down 1. So to the right 4, I'll start here, go to the right 4, down 1. That'll put us to the right 4, down 1 right there. And then look, if we go to the right 4, down 1 again, we get that other point. All right, so I'm going to pass a line through these 2 or now 3 points. And there we go. There is the graph of that equation. Well, they're telling us to watch a video and then graph from the video. Well, we don't need to watch a video. We know how to do this. Here's the slope, right? What's the slope? Right there. There's the slope. Start at some point on the graph, go to the right 4, down 5. And where is that starting point? Right here at 0, -7. So let's do that. Let's plot a point at 0, -7. That is the y-intercept. So we'll go down to -7 right there, put a point, and then from that point, we'll use the slope to get another point. So we'll go to the right 4 because it's positive, and then down 5. Well, that's going to be tricky. It's going to be off our graph, our coordinate system. So, but we'll do it. We'll do the best we can. We'll go to the right 4, down 5. All right, so I'm going to start at this point, go to the right 4, down 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll put us down here, maybe like over here someplace. So let's pass a line through those 2 points. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. This is tricky because it's off the coordinate system. So look at that slope. That slope is -5 over 4. But what if I did this? What if I put that negative sign on the bottom and wrote it like this? Put the negative on the bottom, wrote it as +5 over 4. Now that tells me to start at some point, like this one, go to the left 4 and up 5. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the left 4 and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll put me right here, okay? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. So I'll put that point. Now, it looks like I made a pretty good guess with that other point down here. But those 2 points I know are on the line. The other one was a guess. Right, so there's our line. Well, this equation is already in slope-intercept form, so this should be somewhat straightforward. Let's get the slope. Now, we've done things like this before, but this is a good skill to have. So we want to be sure we're good with this. So B here is -8. So I'm going to put a point here at -8 on the y-axis, way down here. All right, point right there. Now the slope is -4/3. So starting at that point, I'm going to go to the right 3, down 4. All right, so we'll do this thing again that we did in the last problem, if you remember that. We'll go to the right 3, down 4, but that puts us off the graph. So why don't we do it this way here? The slope is -4 over 3, but we can write that as, put that negative on the bottom, +4 over -3. And then what we can do is start at that y-intercept and go to the left 3, up 4. So I'm going to start here, and instead of going to the right 3, down 4, I'm going to go to the left 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's put a point there. So I'm going to go to the left 3, up 4. I think it's right there if I counted that correctly. You know, we could even do it again. Go to the right, go to the left 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 4 puts us right there. Now I've got 3 points, and they look like they're all on a line. So I'll pass a line through these 3 points. There's our graph. Well, this equation's in slope-intercept form. We got y equals mx plus b. Now, this equation here is really y equals 1x plus 1. So there's the slope right there. It's 1. But remember, if you have a whole number, write it as a fraction. You can write any whole number as a fraction if you write it over 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here at b. All right, b is 1 unit above the x-axis, so we're going to be, all right, there's the origin. I'm going to put a point right there at 1. And then I'm going to go to, now this is tricky here. I'm going to go to the right one, up one. See, that's very close. It's hard to get a good picture of that, a good point, to get a line through those two because they're so close together. So you know what we can do? We can do this. We can write it as 2 over 2, or 3 over 3, or even as 4 over 4. This is just a little trick you learn as you do these problems. So there's the slope. I'm going to come over to this point, and now I'm going to go over 2 and up 2, or if you like, over 3 and up 3, or if you like, over 4 and up 4. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll go over 4 and up 4. That put, if I'm counting right, that'll put me right there. I could even do it again. But this time, maybe I'll go over 2 and up 2. Yeah, it looks like it's right on that line. So let me get my straight edge here and pass a line through those points. That looks like a pretty good graph. Now this is a good one to do because it forces us to see something here. This equation, y equals -1/4 x, really is in slope-intercept form. You see it like this. You know the slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. But what we've got is y equals, I'll put the negative on the top, -1/4 x. Now, b, there's no number out here, but you can write one as including a 0, right? What is this? Well, -1/4 x plus 0 is really -1/4 x. But now I've got m, and m is -1/4, and b is 0. So this crosses right at the origin. This line goes right through the origin, right there. And the slope is -1/4. Now, they give us this huge coordinate system. It's going to be a little tight here. So -1/4. So I'm going to start at that b. Oh, b equals 0. And I'm going to go, what? Start at that 0, the origin. Go to the right 4, down 1. All right, so to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1 puts us right there. That's pretty tight. I'm going to do it again. To the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1 will put us here. Right, did I get that right? I think I went down too many. Yeah, I did. Okay. So let me back that out. All right, so to the right 4, down 1 will put us here. Okay. All right, now those 3 points look like they're on a line, so I'm going to pass a line through those as best I can and claim that that is the graph of y equals -1/4 x. So whenever you have anything like this, whenever you have y equals mx and no number out here, right, this is blank out here, these always pass through the origin.